Hey everyone, what's up? I'm Kolton still, and I haven't done this in a very long time, so today I'm going to be reviewing Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review and a spoiler review, so this first part is spoiler-free, so don't worry about that, and the next part will be spoilers all the way. So, what did I think of the film? From a filmmaking standpoint, the visuals were fantastic, visually stunning, and the cinematography was fantastic. And the music by, of course, John Williams. John Williams is great. Never go wrong with John Williams. Other than that, the film was awful. This has got to be the worst Star Wars film I have ever seen. Now, not to say that the film didn't have some good aspects about it. Just like overall, the film was really bad. If you have been keeping up with the rumors and the leaks that's been happening around this, surrounding this film, I'm sad to say that all the leaks are true. Every single one of them. I'm not going to talk about here because this is spoiler free, but it's true, sadly. This film does have some good parts, but the majority of it was just terrible. The writing is so crammed. This movie show felt like it should have been 2 movies, but they crammed like 2 movies into one. This movie felt like it was damage controlling The Last Jedi. That's what it felt like. The writing was just so expositional. There were characters in this movie that spit nothing but exposition the whole time. And 101, film and writing 101 is show, don't tell. And there was just too much story crammed in this one movie for them to actually make a decent, coherent story, in my personal opinion. Sadly, that was the case. And they brought certain characters in this movie that actually destroyed the rest of the Star Wars films. I really want to get into spoilers, so I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this up really quickly. If I'm going to give The Rise of Skywalker a grade, it's a 2 out of 5. A 2 out of 5. That has got to be the lowest rank for a Star Wars film I've ever given. Luckily, it's the last one. There's not going to be episode 10, 11, or 12, thank goodness. Unless Disney's like, oh, okay, we can make more money and we can make these the last movies. No, I don't want that. So, Rise of Skywalker is a 2 out of 5 for me. I wish it was better. I really wish it was better. Sadly, it was not. There was characters in this film that were thrown in for the heck of it and served no purpose whatsoever. So I'll get in that spoilers. So anyway, that's it for the spoiler review. Spoiler-free review. So I'll see y'all in the spoiler video. Alright, y'all. So this is the spoiler part of the video. I decided to just go ahead and make this one video instead of 2, just for time's sake. So, The Rise of Skywalker. Where do I begin? Alright, so start at the very, very beginning with the opening crawl, no less. They just confirm Palpatine's alive. They confirm it. I was hoping that he wouldn't be alive, because that means if he was alive, and he is alive, that would destroy the lineage of Anakin Skywalker, of him being the chosen one and destroying the Sith. That is no longer relevant. I'll get to that. Well, actually, never mind. It's just him being alive is no longer relevant. And the best part is, they don't even explain why he's still alive. The Emperor pretty much says the dark side of the Force is the pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural, which is straight out of Revenge of the Sith. Straight out of that. That's all they give for why he's still alive. That's all they give. Which is not a good excuse of why he's alive at all. So if that's not bad enough, Rey is overpowered to the limit in this movie. Overpowered. so overpowered it makes no sense whatsoever. Ever. The Rise of Skywalker takes place after 1 year after the Last Jedi. 1 year. And in that time, by training with herself and by having guidance from Leia, we're expected to believe she is Star Killer level powerful here. No way after 1 year of training can any Jedi be as powerful as Star Killer, because Star Killer was trained by Darth Vader since he was a boy. So it makes sense of why he was trained in the dark arts of the Force, and why he's the most powerful dark side being in the Force Unleashed. Here, it makes no sense. If Jedi can become that powerful after 1 year of training, there is no reason why the Jedi should have fallen in the first place. All those Jedi could have taken on all of those clone troopers and Revenge of the Sith. There's absolutely no reason why they should have failed if that was the case. That's another broken plot point in the story of Rey being too powerful. And it kind of breaks it because in training, she's having a hard time with the training ball. Oh, I don't know what do you call it, the training droid, whatever, that spits the lasers or whatever at you, and you're supposed to block them. She's having a tough time with that. But anything else, she has no problem with it. What are these force powers? She can force heal now. Yeah, she can force heal, and she can do force lightning, which is like, okay. But the main one is like she can do force healing. Makes no sense whatsoever. Continuing on, Leia barely had any purpose in this movie whatsoever. They should have just written her out of the movie. They could have just said in the crawl that she died, but she didn't. She's here maybe on screen for a max of maybe 10 minutes or less. And what did she do? Nothing. All it is repurposed footage from The Force Awakens that they placed in this movie to make it fit like she belonged in this movie. But every line was so short with her, it was you clearly could see that she doesn't belong here. It's like, this is footage that's meant for something else. It just cut pieces to make it look like it fit in the movie. I know this because I did this with my Star Wars film. I just cut dialogue from other movies and put it in my movie to make it work. It does not fit on the big screen, in my opinion. Fan film, sure, whatever, but for a blockbuster as such as this, no, it doesn't work. I'm sorry, I just was very distracted by it. And so she dies very early on in the movie. So, before I continue on with anything I don't like, I want to talk about one thing I really did love in the movie. There is one thing I loved about the movie. Kylo Ren's or Ben Solo's story arc. His story arc wraps up very nicely. He continues to be conflicted between the dark side and the light side. He wants to be the supreme ruler, but at the same time, every single time he faces Rey, he's like very conflicted with himself. And finally, towards the end, his mother finally gets to him by using all of her force power, which actually kills her, and to reach him and to finally get across to him that he doesn't want to be a Sith anymore. Which I liked. His arc wrapped up very nicely. He actually throws away his lightsaber, and Harrison Ford actually appears to him in the memory and talks to him right before he decides to give up his Sith ways, which is a very nice touch. That was a great scene in an overall awful movie, unfortunately. So, let's skip along a little bit. The Emperor's fleet is called the Last Order. This fleet is supposed to be the most powerful thing in the galaxy. And towards the end, when the Rebel fleet shows up, they take them out like it's nothing. Like it's absolutely nothing. Remember in Return of the Jedi how when the entire Rebel fleet showed up and they were still having a very hard time taking out all the Star Destroyers, in this one they go out like butter. It's so easy to take them out. There's barely any TIE fighters. And at least in Return of the Jedi, there were tons of TIE fighters taking out ships left and right. In this one, there's barely any TIE fighters. It looks like the Star Destroyers can barely hit anyone. It's just taking out a couple of ships at a time. It makes no sense. And getting to the final battle, when Kylo finally shows up to help Rey out, the Emperor takes both of their powers. It's kind of like sucks the Force power out of both of them. And therefore he's back to his normal self. We see his Force lightning. It's pretty cool, I'll say that. He's pretty cool. He starts taking out ships, resistance ships left and right. And then all the Jedi start talking to Rey. And she gets up. And she has 2 lightsabers now. She has Leia's saber, which came out of nowhere. Which they kind of explain where she did have her own saber. But suddenly Rey has it now. I forgot who gave it to her, but she has it now. And she has Luke's saber. She's used both sabers. She blocks Palpatine's lightning. And knocks it back towards him. And kills him. Therefore, she's now, I guess, the chosen one. And she destroyed the Emperor. Brought balance to the Force. Still destroys the other Star Wars film. But whatever. So, what else can I talk about? Oh yeah, she does go back to the island where Luke was in The Last Jedi. And she was going to do the same thing he did. She starts burning everything and is about to throw away her lightsaber when... Actually, she does throw her lightsaber, but who catches it? Force Ghost Luke. And he says, now you need to show more respect for a Jedi's weapon. I'm like, that was just a diss to Rian Johnson for what he did in the last Jedi when Luke just threw his lightsaber. I loved it. It was great. And this was another great scene. There were 2 great scenes plus Kylo's story arc. The rest of it was just really bland. Another thing I want to talk about, the Knights of Ren. They just show up out of nowhere, not explained of how they got there, why they're there, and what's their purpose. They're just there, and we're just along for the ride. It just makes no sense. Poe has a girlfriend, apparently, that we never knew about in this movie. She just shows up out of nowhere and just disappears for a bit, and then comes back in the climax for no reason. There are so many characters in this movie that are thrown in, like Lando. Lando's another character that's thrown in for no reason. If you scrapped Lando for the film, it would have changed nothing. Nothing about this movie would have been changed if Lando was in the movie. He served no purpose in the story. 3PO's character was completely changed through the first half of this movie. His characteristics of 3PO have changed dramatically in this movie. He acts like a human being for like half of this film until finally his memory was wiped and he starts acting like old 3PO again. And then when he does get his memory back, at least he starts acting like 3PO again and not like this weird human 3PO that we never seen in any Star Wars film whatsoever. So it was completely out of character for him. Oh yeah, so also 3PO is the king of exposition in this movie. Anything the characters needed to know, 3PO was right there to tell them. No questions asked. 3PO had all the answers. Made absolutely no sense. Everything the characters needed, someone was there to tell them right away. No questions asked. And exposition, all the exposition in this movie was just really mind-boggling. It was really annoying. Again, show, don't tell. But again, this movie was just so crammed of things. They couldn't show everything. They just had to tell the audience everything. Just spoon feed us everything. Which got really annoying. Because I got the pieces. there's lots of parts of this movie where if you just watch it, you understand what's happening. But a character on screen just has to just explain what's going on. Like, I know what's happening. Don't tell me. I know what's happening. Is it because of the kids in the audience? You don't think the kids are going to figure out what's going on? Is that why you're telling me? So, anything else I can talk about? Oh yeah, the reason why 3PO's memory had to be wiped is because they got a dagger, which just conveniently is at the place they needed it to be, has a Sith translation on it that 3PO can't translate because it's against his programming. So they had to program him to be a Sith droid, so that wipes his memory. And then before then, it's like, well, why is there a way we can get his memory back? It's like, why not we use R2's database to store your memory so we can get your memory back? And he's like, oh, well, R2's memory is not very reliable. Guess what they do at the end of the movie? Get his memory back. Yes, right. R2 plugs himself into 3PO and gets his memory back. So why was that a thing? I wasn't worried because I knew it was going to happen anyway. So, did any major character die in this movie? Yes and no. Rey dies at the very end, but then Kylo comes and uses his Force abilities to save her. And in turn, he dies because all of his Force energy went to her. And for all you Reylo fans out there, it happened. As soon as Ben brought Rey back to life, they had a nice long kiss. So there you go. So he dies. So guess Reylo fans are happy. Oh yes, here's a story plot that never was finished in the movie. I think they completely forgot to write an ending to this. There's a part in the film where Finn thinks they're all gonna die. They're in like a sand pit right before they get the dagger in the pit. And Finn thinks they're all gonna die. So as they're sinking in the sinking quicksand or whatever you want to call it, he says, Rey, before we die, I want to tell you. I never got to tell you. And then from there on, Poe's like, well, what do you want to tell Rey before you thought we were gonna die? He said, oh, don't worry about it. I'll tell you later. And then Rey's like, oh, what did you want to tell me when you thought we were gonna die? He's like, oh, don't worry. I will tell you later. He never says what he wants to say to Rey. Of course, we all know he was going to say, I love you. We all know that. But he never does. So I thought he was going to say at the very end of the movie, and I thought at least then maybe Rey and Finn would get together. But that'd be kind of weird now since it shows that she has feelings for Ben. It's just weird. So I guess that's why they just didn't finish it. But still, kind of a little story arc for Finn. They needed to finish and they didn't. So that's another disappointing thing. Oh, also right before Rey, I don't know if I said this or not, but before Rey gets up and destroys the Sith, a lot of the Jedi from the past movies, Anakin Skywalker, Yoda, Luke Skywalker, Mace Windu's voices come and tell her, get up, you're our last hope. Which is pretty cool to hear the voices again, but I wanted to really see them. We heard for so long that Anakin Skywalker was going to appear and help her just beat Palpatine, which I would have really enjoyed, because if he was the one that did the final blow, I'd been like, okay, fine, Anakin's still the chosen one. But since they didn't do that, it's very disappointing. And the biggest cake topper to this is we find out that Rey is not a nobody. She's the granddaughter of Palpatine, the Emperor's granddaughter. And that's why she's so powerful for some reason. Makes no sense whatsoever. Disney and J.J. Abrams could say all they want, like, oh yeah, it was our vision to bring the Emperor back all this time. Like, no, it was not. Snoke was gonna be the bad guy. So if anything, it was probably Snoke who had some kind of relations Rey in the very beginning of the treatments for the next two films before Rian Johnson ruined it. So, her being Palpatine's granddaughter, it makes no sense. It's just from way out of left field. And apparently, Palpatine made Snoke. It was a creation from the Emperor. And this was the Emperor's vision all along, from the very beginning. That's another thing they did not explain, other than why is the Emperor alive. The Death Star is clearly still intact, electronically too. Rey can open a hatch in the throne room on the Death Star, and it worked perfectly. I don't know about y'all, but did you see the Return of the Jedi? Right? I'm pretty sure the Death Star exploded into billions and billions of pieces. So tell me, how in the world is it still functional? Again, I'm trying not to sound like a Star Wars nerd or anything. I'm looking at this from a story standpoint. If you're going to continue on what the other films have built on, you got to respect that and continue on what it's built on. You can't make up all this stuff just because of whatever. There's even a scene of them in space, and they're outside the ship in space without no space gear, and it makes no sense. Rey jumps out from from Kylo Ren's Ben Solo's Star Destroyer, and jumps from a hangar to the Millennium Falcon, which was outside of the shield in space, and she didn't die. Yeah, and Finn was helping her to the Millennium Falcon too, so he should have died as well. This makes no sense, just like a lot of parts in The Last Jedi that make any sense. Anyway, I think that's the majority of it. Oh yeah, I think y'all, if y'all saw this clip online, apparently they're surprised that stormtroopers can fly now. We've had this before. Why is this such a shocker that stormtroopers can fly? Oh, and the reason of why they can't do Hondo's light speed trick again is because it's it's just a 1 in a million thing. So I'm like, it's a 1 in a million tries to get that right. I'm like, really? That's your excuse for this? Okay. So that's pretty much, I believe, it for the spoilers of The Rise of Skywalker. I can't really think of anything else. I wish this film was better than it was. It was just so crammed of things. Characters just popped out of nowhere at the right time for exposition's sake. It just was so mind-boggling of how much they messed this up. They should have just made another movie and called Episode 10 the last one, because of how bad Episode 8 messed everything up. It was nice seeing Harrison Ford again, I'll say that. It was really nice. But again, that was connected to a story arc I really enjoyed in the movie. Ben Solo's story arc was the best part of this movie. If I was going to watch this movie again, it'd probably be just his story arc, because the rest of the movie is just so crammed with stuff, it doesn't matter. People jump from place to place to place to place to place in a matter of minutes, and it just doesn't make a good, coherent story. So, but The Rise of Skywalker, the last film of the Skywalker series. Oh yes, to top it all off, Rey takes the name of Skywalker at the very end of the movie. Yeah. Someone asks her, "Who are you?" She says, "I'm Rey Skywalker." Yeah. And that's how they end the whole saga. Alright, y'all. That was my spoiler / rant So, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you do watch The Rise of Skywalker, I do hope you enjoy it. I really do. Just because I didn't enjoy something doesn't mean you don't have to enjoy it. If you didn't enjoy it, cool. If you did really enjoy it, that's awesome too. Every movie should be seen on their own merits. Just because one person doesn't like it doesn't mean another person won't like it. I saw the movie tonight with my friend, and he really enjoyed the movie. He really loved it. I just didn't. I told him, I think it's great that you love the movie. I just did not. So don't take what I say discourage you of seeing the movie yourself and coming up with your own opinion. Don't let other people online discourage you of what you want to see. So anyway, that's it, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'm Kolton still, and I will talk to y'all later.